not me paying attention to her when she tells me that.
And see,
like she tells me all the time that she knows when it's not me and has experienced something other than me probably more times than anybody that's ever been around. I know she has.
Yeah.
But she would be the one to offer that up. I've only experienced it or seen it while on camera. I can only imagine what I'm like and look like when I'm in an investigation or something. I'm like, man, I looked completely stupid. Like, you know, I was embarrassed. I'm like, dude, I am not sharing this. Even though it's insane and it's validating on so many levels, it's just like, man, I just look, I don't know. Maybe I'll break down and share something. I don't know, but it's crazy to see it happen. It's crazy to. I haven't even shared that with you, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Josh and Tari are the only two that have seen it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, man, like. But I'll tell you, man, it's real. Like, it's real. Like, I don't know how many times a day I'll say something. It doesn't even have to be bad. Like, it can be good. But I'll say something, and I'll immediately, right after I say it, like, what the fuck? Or why the fuck did I even say that shit? Like, it's just so not me. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, immediately. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What was it? It wasn't too long ago. We were having a session, and we just had to, like, shut it down at one point. I mean, you went from, like, 0 to 60, and you didn't realize it at first, but then you're like, oh, my God, we got to stop, because, like, I'm starting to get really mad. I'm trying to think I don't know if that's when we did the mirror right after you guys brought it back from Bel Air. I think that's actually what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, see, like, those moments, I don't even, like, I can't even remember, I don't even remember that.
Because it's not
Yeah.
Wow. But see that happens to Brittany a lot, like, stuff like that, and I can always tell, like Tari said, I can always tell when something's affecting her, but she won't even, like, remember it later. And or she'll remember certain details about what she was seeing or what she was experiencing, but a lot of the time she won't remember, like, anything I said or was doing to try and, like, help her get out of it. And I definitely think she has that kind of medium ability too, where things like
they're jumping in and out of you all day long, man.
And then
I'll tell you, as a kid, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
As a kid, I do remember that I talked to myself more, and some of the shit that I remember talking to myself about was it wasn't stuff that was relative to my life and stuff like that. And I often think, I don't know. I mean, I still talk to myself, but it's not like it was when I was a kid. But there were times when I'm like, what the hell was I even talking about? Or, you know, it didn't make sense. It was like, you know, I'm talking about something that isn't even relative to my life. And now that I think about it, I'm wondering if those were the moments where spirit, you know, where I was more open to it as a kid, and those were the spirits talking and not me. You know, I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but, you know, the more I break it down and look back, you know, just remember, you know, some of the shit that I experienced and didn't even think was paranormal, but look at it from a totally different aspect now, and I'm like, wow, you know, all this shit kind of makes sense. You know, the feelings that I would get alone, you know, some of the most fearful things that I've ever experienced were on a spiritual level when I didn't even know that I was this spiritual. You know, I remember living in an apartment, and I'm sitting on my chair, and I was by myself, and all of a sudden, I get this overwhelming fear. I'm right by the window, like somebody's staring at me. Like, it's not like somebody just looking at you and making eye contact. Like, this, whatever it was around me and just, like, up in my face, like, they're trying to scare me. And it did. You know, I was young. I didn't know what was going on. I literally got up out of my chair, ran into our kitchen, pushed the refrigerator out of where it was just to block what I thought it was looking at, like me. And then, like,
wow.
It was so creepy, like, you know, just experiences like that, getting chased up the steps, wherever I went, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't know, you know what I mean? Those were things and signs that I was getting closed off to because of, you know, what the worldly shit, you know what I mean? And not staying grounded to this amazing shit that we're born with, you know?
Definitely. I wanted to ask Josh. Josh, what was got you into the paranormal? Like, what kind of experiences did you have when you were younger? And
the first one I remember having was I was very young at our old house when I was a kid, and I went to sleep one night, and I used to fall asleep with my TV on, but my TV had like a timer on it. I mean, I was like very young. I was probably, I don't know, 9, 10 years old. Anyway, my TV had a timer on it, and I remember waking up halfway through the night and looking over, and there just being this little girl there. And she looks at me, and she just goes, it's still on. So I lean over, and I fell back asleep right away, but then I woke up, when my normal time would be, and my TV was still on. And to me, it was very, very real. I mean, there was something, she was solid, I could tell that she was there.
mm-hmm.
And even when I woke up, as soon as I woke up and I thought about it, it gave me chills. You know what I mean? Like, even being 9, it felt so invading, so and strange.
Yeah.
And it kind of sparked my interest. And actually, what got me further into it was my aunt, the one that we've been talking about. She actually just passed away back in March. And,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and so my attachment and everything, came from her house. I'm very sure it is, but I guess I can't prove that 100%. But I believe that it was. And she was always she was much more of like a spiritual guide for me. Anytime I had questions or was feeling a certain way or this or that, she was very in tune with that stuff. She was always able to tell, but also very, nurturing in that. And she always, if I was saying stuff that I was experiencing, paranormal wise, she never shot it down. It was never, don't you just think you're, maybe you need to get some sleep, or maybe you're just seeing things or anything like that. It was just very, well, what do you think it is? And she would have these conversations, and she always just inspired me to keep going for it. And ever since then, I always have. I've just always had a pretty big interest in it. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Alex, you can tell that just meeting him, I think, Terry, right, you agree, like, he's totally, like, great heart, very, very open-minded, and you've talked with him 100 times, thousands of times since he's become, family, and he's definitely a spiritual person, and for him to get the stuff that he gets on the Ghost Box by himself, that proves that. That proves that he has a connection, because that's the only way that people are going to get stuff, whether through boards or radios or digital recorders. You might get something here and there, you know what I mean, but you're not going to get fluid communication if you do not have a connection. He has it. It's awesome.
That's awesome. And Terry, what about your experiences from early age?
The earliest I can remember, I was probably like 4. My grandma was a very religious Christian woman, and she would have people come over and pray with her and things like that. And she had one, we lived in Texas, and there was a woman that was a Hispanic lady that came over 2-3 times a week. And I would be playing or doing whatever while they were talking and praying and stuff. And she told my grandmother that, I had a gift, a spiritual gift, and that, I should hold on to that. And my grandma had always agreed with her, and she never, ever told me anything that I saw or thought I saw. She never told me that wasn't what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always argued, most people that tell us that they're Christians, that if it's anything to do with the paranormal, they automatically assume that it's evil and that's it. And you say, if you believe in God and the Holy Spirit, you have to believe in the spiritual world, or you can't believe in what you say you believe in. And that was the same thing she always told me.
Yeah.
So she always kind of just said, hey, this is, it doesn't have to scare you. you know, it is what it is. You're more powerful than them. If you don't like it, or if it is scaring you, you can just tell them, you know, I have power over you, and that would be it.
Bro, and she's dead on too. Like, I don't think that it's like she'll tell me like sometimes like 5 minutes prior to me catching an EVP or something, but she'll point me in most of the direction that I'm going to most of the time. Like at the Bel Air house, for instance, in the attic, she's like, "There's a girl over there." Literally, like within seconds of me, it influenced my question, which was I asked if there was a lady over here, and it said no, but it was in a soft woman's voice, and as it said no, Terry's like, "No, it's not a lady, it's a young girl," and like the voice that came through was a young girl. Like she points out like things that I don't pick up on or identify, and like those abilities are unique to each person, and it's when you're together, it just forms like, you know, it's crazy, you know, it's cool because it's I'm sure you see it with Brittany, you know, it's not just you falling in love with her, you fall in love with her because of a whole bunch of different things, including the connection, the spiritual connection, and how your souls help each other's, and that's the same level that me and Terry are on, but it's like that for everybody. Like Josh, you know, it all clicks. It's not, it's crazy because each person has their own set of abilities, and they can it can benefit everyone else's. It's cool.
It's even cool together. How we've been realizing that even like through live streaming and stuff, it can still work like that. You know, we've had a lot of crazy live sessions together.
Right. And on that level, you're not across the world. You know, on that level, it's just like, hey, man, I'm keeping you in my heart. Your thoughts and prayers. Your thoughts are basically, you know, it's like a universal thing. I believe, like, the whole concept about keeping you in my heart is just complete consciousness and subconsciousness. You're in my thoughts. And showing compassion and stuff, you're right on the other side, brother. It's like, you know, we can pick up on you right now, and it's like you're right next to us. It has nothing to do with physical.
Space and time aren't the same.
Yeah, I mean, we have the ability through radio and recorders and boards to bend space and time and connect to the past, connect to, I believe, the future, because there are times when I don't even say a question that the answer to my question comes out. And I don't even hear it, but I'll hear it in evidence later. I'm like, what the hell, you know? So, like, I do believe that maybe there's just a tiny step in the future that they're able to see, or maybe it's just a giant leap. I don't know, but I know that our consciousness is I can physically grab all of ours right now and just connect to it. You know, it's not like that. It's totally different. It's beyond what I can even comprehend.
I agree.
It's insane because, you know, not only do we have the ability to connect to spiritual energy, but we do have the ability to connect to our own, to other living beings. I don't think that it's held down by just humans. I think animals, all this shit, everything's connected. Anything with a life source, an energy source, can be picked up on. Now, do we know how to do it? I don't know. I can't tell you, but I have seen enough of our own evidence and what other people have brought to the community that I'm a believer. You know, it only took me 10 seconds of somebody's clip to, like, dude, like, this is beyond, like, relativity and the odds of shit happening once, let alone 1,000 times in a 3-minute clip, is insane. You know what I mean? Like, there's just too much shit going on for it not to be true. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's very real to me for sure. So real quick before we close it out, go ahead and tell everyone how to find your pages, and also I shared the links in the description of this for anyone who's listening now.
You can find us on Facebook, /Paranormal Den, Twitter @Paranormal Den, Let's see, YouTube, youtube.com/C/paranormal den.